Wait, what? Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a little bit of a situation going on here between the two teams. One of the teams having to restart their computers due to some technical difficulties. We will... my name is Clutch here on your play-by-play for tonight. Joining me on the color side is Zark. But again, we do have some technical difficulties going on. We will get you back to the game in just a little while. We apologize for the small delay, but again, get you back to your game in just a second between Verity Academy and Advent Esports. This is the Rose League. Again, we'll take a short break. We'll be back when it comes time that everybody joins in together. So stick around for that.
Let's find a million birds and fly with them outside of the earth. Let's dream the night away. If we could find a million birds, yeah, if we could see the universe, then we could dance on Jupiter. If we could see the universe, then we could be the future. Let's find a million birds. A million birds.
You're up. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Rose League game here on Monday, November 5th of the year 2018. We've got a good one for you tonight between Verity Academy and Advent Esports. My name is Klutchkey on your play-by-play, and joining me tonight for our first time on the Rose League side is Zark on my color. What's up, my man?
Hey, Klutchkey, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me, Rose League. I'm really excited to do some casts for y'all. And Clutch, it's been a little while since we've casted together. Well, it's only been a week and a half or so, but that feels like it's too long. It's too long.
It's too long. A week and a half is a little too long here. So you and I, first experience here in the Rose League and the up-and-coming league as well. Very exciting. Just the other day, I guess we saw an announcement from the Rose League admin staff saying that one of the players from Dallas Fuel, Harry Hook, is in this Discord server, and I was so excited that this is an up and coming thing. What about you?
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. We're great to have someone like that in the Discord and the community. So thanks so much for stopping by and supporting us. Appreciate it. But let's get into the games a little bit, because like you said, it is Verity Academy versus Advent Esports, and we're starting out on Rialto, which a little bit of a newer map, but personally one of my favorites.
And one of the newer maps, of course, from the Overwatch Retribution era, which we saw Moira, McCree, Reaper, and I forget the last one already. Jeez, you correct me if I'm wrong. I already forget the fourth one by my memory, but still, very nice map. It is an escort map though. So, what are we to expect between these two teams, or what's the usual between these two teams that you think we could see?
Yeah, this is a map that really teams can utilize it a couple different compositions. Already we're seeing Verity Academy, they're going to be on the defense. They're kind of setting up that sort of bunker composition, right, where you have that Orisa Diva tank line. You're trying to get those halts off onto the side of the bridge there, try and catch some people off guard. But I like what we have here with Astaroth. They're running the Junkrat with those grenades down these narrow corridors. That's going to be able to spam a lot of damage and get that ultimate very quickly. But on the other side, Advent Academy, they also have a pretty beefy tank line, but Starlight has the Pharah. So Pro Genji for Verity Academy, they're going to be trying to get Starlight out of the sky.
So Advent already moving on in, and this payload having no trouble at all, moving around at least the first turn over the bridge. Astaroth starts off with a kill on Prom to start off, so that's the good one. The main tank goes down, but with Jupiter right there with the res, that brings it back to a 6v6, but you can tell already that Verity Academy might have this under control as Prom goes down again, and that forces them to reset.
And look at Astaroth. You can already see how much damage this Junkrat is doing to this Advent Esports team. Already up to 92-93% to their ultimate. That is really huge. They're going to be having a Riptire basically at the start of this next team fight, which could potentially shut it down immediately.
So you got under 1 minute gone from the clock. You've got about 3 minutes remaining here. They're going to try the same thing. No, not too many changes that we can see about, and you've already got two ultimates on the side. You've got a Riptire and you've got a Nano Boost on the way here. You've got a Riptire coming in. This is going to come in from Astaroth. It's going to come around the edge up top. Comes around. Bees is able to take down Astaroth. Riptire. So a 1-for-1 trade. Pro Genji does find the Pharah of Starlight, and again, this just stalls out the point. But as of right now, it looks like it looks like Verity Academy might be able to stop this one.
And Verity Academy is doing a good job of capitalizing on the picks. Although they did just lose their main tank, that's a big loss. But Verity, they have the ultimates in the bag to back it up. They're going to be able to hold on to this despite a couple of losses there. But Advent, in order to get back into this, Starlight needs to start staying alive a little bit longer in these fights. They need to generate that ultimate faster, and someone's got to put a stop to Pro Genji on that Widow.
Starts off with a supercharger coming out from Prom. This is going to be interesting to see how they utilize it. That supercharger running out of time and not too many kills coming off of it. So really now you're going to see Beezus take down Pro Genji. No one really near that supercharger, so that does go down. But the way this is pushing up already, you're going to have one more fight left to go before anything else happens. Self-destruct comes right down the middle, and that's going to find Prom to start us off here with that self-destruct. And both of the Orisas go down, but here's the thing, the trades are happening on the side of Verity Academy, and this should be it for the reset at least, but they're still going to try and push back and forth here, but it looks like Verity's going to have the defensive side.
Yeah, at this point, there's picks going back and right. There's no clear winner, but right now, the one who's really impressing me is Beezus on that Widowmaker. They're shutting down Pro Genji twice now. They've won the battle, and that's really opening up these fights for Advent Academy. And now with the switch onto Reinhardt from Prom, that's going to be able to allow Advent to push this point a little bit harder.
I believe that's the infrared sight being used by Beezus to start off as well. You've also got a Riptire on Astaroth's side. You have a Rocket Barrage as well. Rocket Barrage from Starlight. Gonna find at least 0, but that's about it. You've got a Riptire to maybe try something else, but Astaroth going down with the Riptire. Beezus saving the lives of Advent Esports, and finally some light as Advent takes over the second point, or first point rather.
Beezus. Can we just talk about for a second how they have now shot out 2 Riptires? That is absolutely insane. Really nice stuff from Beezus. Keep your eyes out for them, because I feel like they're going to be making big plays throughout this series. And so now Verity Academy, they've switched onto a double sniper composition, right? They're going to be trying to set up some crossfires between the 2 snipers and really make Prom uneasy, make them unsure of where they need to be positioning their shield. That's the real key for Verity. But Advent, they're pushing this forward, and they already found an opening pick on the 0.
Finds 0, so that's the main tank down. You got 5 more people to find, and you've got no mercy on the other side of Verity as well. So this is going to come down to really if Verity can hold it together. But the way it looks like right now, Advent's looking so far so good here. As if they'll having no trouble. Soundbearer is going to drop down from Flanagan. That's going to get the entire team. You've got a Transcendence being used up as well from Zeph to keep the rest of the team alive. However, Astaroth finds Beezus, but not before the res. And really, it's just a push and shove at this point, but we may see some light as Zeph takes down Astaroth. And now, again, a little bit of just a push and shove at this point.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where generally the team that uses the support ultimate second is going to be the one that wins out. But in this case, it's actually not working out for Advent, right? They used the Transcendence after Flanagan's Sound Barrier, but Flanagan, by using that early Sound Barrier, allowed the team to go in and make a couple of crucial early picks, and then that allowed the rest of the team to snowball over into that team fight. So this is one of those situations where generally where the general rule of thumb doesn't work out, and now with Pro Genji taking out Beezus, that's going to slow this down a little farther. But Advent, they're definitely not out of this. They have 1:30 left on the clock, and Starlight has the Barrage and Prom has the Shatter. So if they can keep themselves alive here and regroup, they're going to be in a good position to get back into this.
Pro Genji already starts off with a pick on Beezus to start, so now 5 on 6. Question is, do you want to keep attacking as your sniper goes down as one of your main points of damage goes down? And from Advent Esports, they're like, gotta reset here because Beezus went down, as well as Prom at least.
Yeah, they have to reset here. They lost too many people early on there. Somehow, the Zenyatta, who for Advent, who I think it was Zeph, they switched on to the Lucio. They somehow fell off the edge, and so now they're resetting, but they're going to getting back into this, and they're already starting with Beezus getting pick onto Pro Genji, fighting back against this aggressive hold here. But now Verity, they're going to be holding this with a lot of ultimates in the bag. It's going to be an ultimate heavy fight here.
You've got an Earth Shatter coming out. Prom not able to get anything. Dragon Strike comes right down the middle of the payload. Really won't get anything either. Ultimate starts off. Self-destruct right down on the payload. Doesn't get anything either. So 3L's really not getting anything. You've got a Supercharger coming down right in the middle here, and that's going to help out as Astaroth and Pro Genji take down the Pharmacy combo. You've got 10 seconds remaining, and unless anybody can get on this point, I don't know if Advent can get back.
Oh man, that was so tough. Advent, they lost Prom at the very beginning. You could tell that they really wanted to make something happen with their Shatter, but they used it a little too aggressively. The team wasn't there, and so now Prom has switched on to the Wrecking Ball, and they tried to stall, but they got taken out right away.
You've only got one person left on the point. Zeph is the only one on this Lucio to get back. Now the Pharmacy combo really has to come out. You've got the Rocket Barrage, takes down Zero. The Sound Barrier drops just in case so the rest of the team doesn't go down. And now you've got the rest of the team coming up staggered. You've got the res on Starlight, but for what cost? As Jupiter is taken down. And that Mercy, really, you've only got one support left, which is Zeph. And now really the overtime clock is going to run. The question is who's going to be able to pull this one out. No ults left, so it's strict fighting on this side. Really the only thing you've got going for it on the side of Verity is that infrared sight coming from Pro Genji, but that's about it. And otherwise no ults coming in. Strict fighting. And this may be it.
Strict fighting, but Zeph, they're about to get their Sound Barrier. If they use this right now, this could save their team. This could allow their team to stall out a little bit, regain some of their members, but Astaroth finds Zeph. That's crucial.
Jupiter also finds a way to res up Prom, so we're back on the fight. Astaroth able to bring down the Dragon Strike right down the middle. Self-destruct takes down Starlight as well. 2 ults down on Prom and Starlight, and that should clear out the point. You've only got one person left with this Tracer here from Beezus. Zeph, I don't think gets there in time, and the overtime clock runs out. And so Advent Esports gets 1 point down the line, 100.63 meters, and Verity Academy's got some work to do, but not as much as Advent needs to do to defend this point.
Yeah, you know, this is a map that really favors the defense, so you have to put up a good defensive hold, and Verity did the job by holding on to and preventing Advent from getting that second checkpoint. That's really huge. If you can have a good stall like that, that really puts your team in a good position to win the map. However, we know that Rialto is sometimes one of those maps where if you have a really good defense, you can prevent the team from even getting the first checkpoint, and that's what Advent is going to be trying to do on their defense here. We'll see if they're able to pull it off. They definitely showed a lot of really bright spots and might be able to do this, right? Beezus, for example, on the Widowmaker was hitting so many shots. I think, you know, it was pretty much even between Pro Genji and Beezus. You know, each one of them evened out the other every once in a while. But really, what was impressing me was how Beezus shut down those tire ultimates, and that really can turn the tides. That forced Astaroth onto Hanzo, which clearly wasn't the pick that they originally wanted to go with. They actually wanted to go with Junkrat, but they realized they weren't getting the value they were looking for because of Beezus. And then on top of that, you know that Advent, they have a pretty aggressive tank line. You know, Prom, you saw them trying to get in the face of Zero with those shatters, but we're going to see a Sombra being pulled out by Starlight. I think this is a good pick for them, able to get into the backline, cause some havoc. But Verity, they're going to be running a pretty death ball-y composition, but with a double sniper composition. So we saw them running that immediately, but it's already Beezus who finds the first pick.
So already starting off with a pick, Beezus takes down Astaroth, but Malum also takes down the main tank of Prom as well. And this should be, again, it's a little bit of a 2-to-2 trade between these two teams. However, it looks like Advent Esports might get the better of this, though. Even though the payload keeps pushing up, you only got really 2 people left. And now you've got a slept Roadhog, so that's going to allow the payload to move up just a little bit forward.
And, you know, Beezus, they're finding the picks, but this aggressive tank line from Verity Academy are able to make so much space that they're making up for the initial picks. However, we just saw a big hack on the Zero.
Big hack on the Zero. That's going to force down the shield, and Hybrid able to take advantage of it. Look at those assists, though. You got 3 assists coming from Zeph, Prom, as well as Starlight, and that's what you kind of need to take down this tank line of Verity, because right now they're looking pretty good on their defensive side, at least going towards the end.
Yeah, so now Advent, they can breathe a little bit. A really great hack there from Starlight onto that Reinhardt, allowed Hybrid to get that hook. Really big play, slowed down Verity completely. And now Pro Genji just found Beezus. This is a big opening for Verity. They can move a little more freely.
You got the infrared sight to help it as well. You got a nano boosted Reinhardt as well. That's going to come out from Zero. There's the Earth Shatter. That takes down 2 people in front of the shield. But with the Transcendence right there, that's going to stop any and all damage. The courtesy of Zep on the Zenyatta. Pro Genji finds Jupiter in the meantime and finds Hybrid Slayer. So 2 good picks to start off. And again, no mercy on the side of Advent, which means that Verity has the chance to open this one up.
And Advent Esports just used both of their support ultimates, so there's going to be nothing left for them to really defend here. So they're going to have to back all the way up. I'm not even sure they're going to try a recontest. If they do, it's going to be very dicey, but it might happen with this EMP. No, it looks like Starlight's just going to die and get out of there. So Verity Academy, you know, they're going to be coming up on Malum's Graviton. So, oh no! That must be a fat finger. That was not meant to happen. They definitely wanted to combo that with Astaroth's dragon there. But it looks like Malum's not worried about it. They're going full speed ahead.
So Malum trying to make up for the fact that they used that Graviton Surge, and now you got the sound barrier here. How about this? 5 people in that sound barrier, as aggressive as they are. Zep falls off the map, and Zero takes down Starlight, meaning that this is going to push the payload up even further. So now you're within 50 meters left to go. And Verity's Advent Esports has to find a way to defend this point, because this could be final point territory.
Yeah, and they're going to try and do this with the bongos coming out from Prom, but a big shatter from Zero knocks down a couple, and here we go, the dragon to top it off.
You got 2 kills on Beezus and Prom. The supercharger goes down as well. The rest of the team, there's an EMP, but does that help any? As usually he takes down Jupiter and Hybrid Slayer, and as well as Starlight going down. Zep uses the Transcendence to hold on as long as they possibly can. It's still Winston from Prom Switch goes on, and the payload keeps moving up. You're in the final 5 meters now, 2.86 remaining, and now you've got this Wrecking Ball from Hybrid Slayer. And now the problem is, how long can you hold it? You've got the Coalescence coming out. Jupiter's able to save some health for just a little while, but I don't know if you noticed, this Genji in the background is Hanzo in the background, taking down Astaroth, taking down Beezus there, so it's still, no matter what. Now you've got another Earth Shatter, that takes down Hybrid, the pin is there, and the rest of the team falls, and Advent Esports won't be able to hold Verity Academy up in the series 1-0.
Wow, and I'll tell you what really, in my opinion, is what swayed the battle there, is the really aggressive play coming out from Verity. It seemed like Advent were just caught off guard by how fast Zero and Malum were just getting up into the faces of their tank line and getting past that shield, and that's exactly what you want to do. And here's a really brilliant shatter and charge here from Zero. Really great stuff. But ultimately, in my opinion, it's the aggression that's coming from Verity that is really sealing the deal for them here.
And a good all-around, overall great teamwork here from Verity, you can take a look at it. You've got Zero with almost 23,000 damage block, and a lot of healing coming from that Ana on the side of Verity. So now you're up 1-0 in the series. Advent Esports, and they were looking good for a little while in some few points. They had some highlights. So what does what does Advent need to do to take down Verity here in the next map of Oasis?
Yeah, I think that compositionally, I think they were a little bit outclassed, right? They held on to that Orisa Hog tank line, I think, a little bit too long, especially when the enemy is really aggressive and likes to get in your face. And Orisa is not going to do a lot of favors for you. You want to switch on to more of a Reinhardt so that you can butt heads against that enemy Reinhardt and really just try and make some space for your team that way. Or if you know that they're aggressive and like to push up really far, go ahead and switch on to more of a dive. Get into that back line. Force the tanks that like to be up really far to go backwards and peel for their supports. So I think there's a couple different answers, but ultimately it's finding ways to act on the aggression we're seeing from Verity. I think that if you can force them to back up, that's really the key.
Now, you and I have casted a lot of games, and usually we only see 1 point usually every altar because it's so hard. It favors the defense so much with all the enclosed space and all that. So give me some highlights from that last give me your highlights from that last game between Verity and Advent, and tell me what they can do to maybe mirror that here when we come onto Oasis, the next map.
Yeah, so I think there were a couple plays that really impressed me. First of all, Beezus on the Widowmaker, sniping 2 Riptires out of the air. Beautiful stuff. I love it. But then, again, I think that Pro Genji held their own on the Widowmaker. They definitely weren't any slouch. They were sort of going back and forth in the Widow battle. But Beezus sniping the tires, and then I think Zero in that main tank role really impressed me. They did a great job of making space for their team, and that's what the role is all about. And then a couple other things. I thought that Zeph, they use their defensive ultimates at times to stall a little bit, which was helpful. I think I would have liked to see it more often used a little bit proactively, like we saw. I want to say it was Eulogy who used the sound barrier early on in the fight to help Verity win it towards the end of their defensive round. So I think that, Eulogy on the sound barrier on their defensive round, that was a really big moment for me. I think that allowed their team to get aggressive and find some early picks and allowed it to snowball. And even though we saw Transcendence come on the side of Advent, it was already too late. So those are some of my highlights from the game. But going on to Oasis, this is a control point map, which means that mechanical skill is going to really matter here. And I think that this is definitely going to be up in the air. I think these actually are 2 very closely matched teams in terms of mechanical skill, and it's just going to be a matter of who has the better composition and better strategy going forward.
All right, so let's switch the subject a little bit as we try to get everything together here. Between Verity and Advent, I guess some more technical difficulties between the 2 teams, and I know we have a Twitch audience as well, so I'd love to get their opinion in chat as well. But what did you think about this weekend here at BlizzCon from the Overwatch World Cup? We saw the U.S. go down in the first round against the United Kingdom, and then South Korea winning it all again back at BlizzCon. So what did you think about the entire Overwatch World Cup?
Wow, I loved it. I was lucky enough to watch all of it. I watched all the games. Big fan. And yeah, starting off with USA losing to UK, I mean, that was just a massive blow to everyone. No one was expecting that, right? And even USA. And I think part of that is they just underestimated that GOAT's composition, and they underestimated the skill that actually does that is involved in that sort of composition. I think that most people just say, "Oh, go GOATs, easy win," but there's intricacies to it, right? That you have to be using your bubbles at the right time. You have to be using that Brigitte to open up shatters for your Reinhardt. You need to have really good synergy moving as a team, and I think that UK did a really great job of that. We saw them all the European teams did a really great job of utilizing that composition. But So that was really shocking to me. But I think overall, just the World Cup was a great experience. Did you have any highlights yourself that you thought were really great?
I don't know. Overall, I think that the Overwatch World Cup is such a great thing. You know, you have the Overwatch League, and then after league is all said and done, you go back to your respective countries, representing countries, I should say, and you go on to watch these teams in action. But my question is it surprising that South Korea has won it again in the World Cup?
No, I don't think it's surprising. We know that region has some of the best players in the world. London Spitfire, a team that's made up of all Koreans, and a team that has some players on it who are in or on the World Cup team this year. We know how strong they're now the 3-time champions of the World Cup, so it's not a huge surprise. I think what did come as a surprise to me, though, was how easy they made the last game seem. When they faced UK, there was actually a couple stumbling blocks there, right? They drew 2 maps. UK was able to force a draw on 2 of them. And so when I was watching that initially, I thought to myself, South Korea kind of looks beatable. They have some kinks in the armor a little bit that teams can play off of. But once they got to China, everything kind of changed. It was back to South Korea looking very dominant. And to give China credit, there were some really great moments for them as well. Not to downplay their showing whatsoever. They played amazing, but they looked a lot more dominant. I think that South Korea was able to play their game a little bit more, right? Whereas when it was UK, they were forced to react to the GOATS heavy composition we saw from that team, and they weren't as prepared for it. They weren't sure exactly how they wanted to go about it. But once it got to China, we saw South Korea come alive again, and that's not too unexpected as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so we'll get out of the Overwatch World Cup talk. We'll talk about it coming up in just a little while here. We are coming in for the next map here in Oasis. Lobby should be starting here in just a little while. It says waiting for players for now, so I don't know if we're going to get things started here in just a little while now. And there we go. We're back. Okay, so we're all assembled together. And oh, some technical difficulties going on in this game, I guess. But other than that, so we're back. We're going to go back into Oasis now. And here we go again. Here we go. I mean, not much you can do about the whole you have technical difficulties and all that. You can't really help that. But now you got Oasis here. First map is going to be the Gardens. What should we expect here, knowing what we've already seen at Rialto?
Yeah, well, we can expect Starlight to either play the Pharah or the Sombra, which it looks like that's what they already want to show off here. But I think that Pharah is really strong on this particular map, right? Because there's a lot of high ground that you can utilize, a lot of open space for the Pharah to utilize those rockets. But really, I would like to see how Advent pulls this off, because they're running a bit of a dive composition, and I think utilizing this middle high ground to stage some of your dives can be really strong for teams. Whereas Verity Academy, they are looking to run more of a ground and pound sort of tank line. And I'm just really interested to see how these two teams are going to run this. I think that Eulogy on the Pharah could be really strong, and I'm excited to see that. And then Starlight on the Sombra, I think if they're able to get into that backline, cause some mayhem, especially with the tanks, that can be really strong as well. So we'll see how these two teams run it.
All right, so the doors will open up for the two teams, and here we go into the Gardens Oasis map number 1. Between Verity Academy up 1-0 over Advent Esports. You can see some shots already being taken from this Pharaoh on the side of Eulogy. And Eulogy last time, I believe, played that Ana, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong there, but now switching on over to the Pharaoh, maybe getting a different lineup altogether here. But now, again, you've got this more or less dive combo on both more or less on both sides, I would say, but the Farmers combo more prominent on the Eulogy and Flanagan side. So now you're thinking who's going to get the first pick there. Zero takes down Quest, and Aka takes down the Hybrid all together. And already Verity Academy is going to have themselves the first strike on the point.
And so what I'm seeing right now is that Starlight is getting some really good hacks onto Zero. You can tell they're getting very aggravated because they keep getting hacked and not able to utilize their full kit. what Advent needs to do is follow up on that better. Like, okay, if the Reinhardt's hacked, let's follow up on it. Let's find a way to dive it, or dive some way that Reinhardt can't protect anymore. And so doing that, but then also staying out of Ika's sightline, because they are clearly very good at Genji and are doing quite a bit of damage. But keep your eyes on Eulogy. They already have their barrage, and they could use that at any moment as they're pushed onto this high ground.
35% enrolling for the side of Verity Academy. Advent trying to find something, some kind of light here. Is again 40% enrolling. You're already going to see them going for this Pharah. Eulogy takes down Starlight, not even needing this rocket barrage. Stuck in the corner though, so might want to get out. But again, Eulogy finds Prom and Starlight. So two good picks to start off, and again, doesn't need the barrage, and that you can already tell backs up Advent Esports.
Yeah, so, you know, Verity Academy, they won that without having to use any ultimates, and that's really bad for Advent. They got to find a new way to approach this, and I think that losing Starlight at the beginning was a pretty big loss, but I feel like the dives are kind of disjointed. I feel like the tanks aren't really moving together well enough. We're not seeing a lot of team cohesion, and that's what Advent needs to change around. Verity, they're going to be coming up on almost all their ultimates here, so this is going to be a little scary. But Starlight, they almost have their EMP. They could shut down a couple if they use this correctly.
So let's go ahead and see where this goes. You've already got Coalescence being brought out. You got the EMP as well, so no barrage coming in just a little while. You got the Tac Visor out from Beezus, takes down Flanagan. Somebody out Beezus with 4 kills altogether, and Advent Esports going to be able to take over this point with ease.
Wow, Beezus finding that massive visor, but ultimately Starlight is the real hero in my books, because they used that EMP early on enough that Verity wasn't able to use any of their ultimates to try and bring that back. So really great stuff from Advent. That's the sort of team play that I want to see them utilizing more often. Really great stuff with Verity. They're coming into this with a lot of ultimates. Get ready. Hold on to your seatbelts, Advent, because you got to absorb a lot to keep this point.
Here we go, 98 to 27, basically one fight territory. You've got the Graviton Surge, you've got the Dragon Strike coming right down the middle. Inca's got 1, Inca's got 2 on Beezus, and Quest as well. Eulogy doesn't need to use the Rocket Barrage just yet. Now using the Barrage to take down Jupiter, and anything else in its path. You've only got 1 person left. Brom is in primal rage mode, trying to hold on as long as possible. But as it stands, you've got Starlight holding on as well. They know it's one fight territory, but at this point, they might have to back up.
Verity, they need to start cranking down on this. They need to find those kills. We see the Shatter from Zero trying to do just that, and now the point will flip, and someone's got touch because that overtime meter is running out.
That overtime meter is going to run out. Does touch the point in time with the overtime clock running. It's the only Lucio on the point. Jupiter finds its way in. So does this Sombra of Starlight to try to hold on as long as possible. The overtime clock keeps running here, but as the stagger stands, there's not much you can do. No more ults on the side unless Hybrid can come in here with the last second self-destruct. Won't be able to reach it in time, and Advent Esports cannot take down Verity Academy, and Verity up 1-0 on Oasis.
Yeah, so you know, Verity Academy, they knew that team fight was pretty much all theirs because they had all 6 of their ultimates, and they just need to win the one team fight. If I was Advent Academy, I think I would have tried to be a little more aware of that, right? So you know that all these ultimates are going to be online because you haven't seen any come out for a while. You got to spread out. Don't get all clumped together by a Graviton like you just saw happen there. So stay spread out. Figure out who you're gonna hack, and I think compositionally, the double main support can be strong in some respects. You get a lot more healing output, but also you don't have a defensive ultimate for when something like a Graviton happens, right? You don't have that sound barrier or that transcendence to keep your team alive. So compositionally, I think that Advent, you know, they didn't have anything to fall back on, but now we see that Quest, she is going to be running the Lucio. That's going to give them that sound barrier in this next fight.
So already you can see the upstairs, downstairs tactic being played as Verity takes on up that second level, and meanwhile Advent is downstairs playing the point. As Pro Genji takes down Starlight, that's enough of an opening to take down the rest of the team. Jupiter in trouble, and now again 2 DBSs and 1 support down. I don't know if Advent can take this one over, and Verity Academy might have an easy shot here.
Yeah, and Verity Academy are doing a really great job of switching up the composition from last time around to more of a dive, so that they can utilize the high ground. You saw them take it very early on, and use that high ground as a place to stage their dives from. So now getting back into this, we already see Pro Genji almost has their Nano, Eika already, you know, like both DPSs already basically have their ultimates, whereas on the other side we're seeing some switches from Advent. So already Verity are going to be winning in the ultimate economy war, and Advent, they're going to have to play catch up. Beezus, they're going to have to take out Eulogy right away because they have their barrage.
So now you're going to see them come in again, but Eika already takes down Starlight, and I don't know if Jupiter wants to risk the fact that they could res Starlight, maybe save it for a little bit later, and that's exactly what they do, because they're already close to the spawn point, so you might as well just wait it out rather than wasting a res for another 30 seconds.
Sure, yeah, do what's sometimes called a soft reset, right, where you just back up a little bit, pick up that respawn, and then move back in. However, I do think Advent Esports, Prom running the Reinhardt, I think, is giving them a bit of a compositional disadvantage, right? Because who are they really going to shatter? Everyone's on that high ground. They're going to have to get up there to contest, but by then they're just going to get focused and taken out. But Beezus finding a couple of crucial picks here.
That's Eulogy as well as Eika going down. So both DPSs are down. Flanagan not going to choose to res. So Prom takes down Pro Genji as well. Beezus 3 kills in the last 4, courtesy of him, as well as a power boost coming out from this Mercy as well. And that should be all she wrote, as Eika's the only one left on this point. We'll try to stall actually for as long as possible. Starlight takes him down. But with 76 or 77% on this point here, Advent Esports is going to have to fight hard.
And normally I'm somebody who's a really big fan of teams that are disciplined in their ultimate usage, but I feel like Verity, they can be a little looser about this. Twice now they've lost a team fight with all 6 of their ultimates. They can use a couple of them. Don't be scared. Get in there. You know, use those ultimates a little more liberally. So that's what I want to see. I want to see them use some of these ultimates next fight, and they have a lot to do it.
Well, let's see when, if, and how they use it, because right now this is going to be a question of whose ultimates are going to be effective. You already got a pulse bomb, and Malum, maybe out of, yeah, Malum is out of mech, so not going to use that self-destruct, holding on to it. Beezus takes down 0, and maybe the mindset of Verity is, even if we lose this one, we've got a chance?
I suppose so, yeah. I mean, that's definitely possible, but again, you can use some of these ultimates. Don't be afraid. We saw Ike use that pulse bomb, and Malum, yeah, they're just demeched right now, but now you're at a point where Advent has also gotten all 6 of their ultimates. So now, when you were so far ahead in the ultimate economy, now you're even. So now this is Advent's to potentially win, right? Because they have the positional advantage. Verity has to come to them, and now the fight is on Advent's turn. This is a chance for them to take this.
So let's see overall how this works out. Again, you've got 5 ultimates on the side of Verity. Let's see how and if they use it. You've got the Coalescence already coming out from Quest and trying to get anybody up there, but again, you're going to have a lot of ultimates being played here. Pretty much one-fight territory. And you've got Eulogy taking down Beezus. Self-destruct coming down. Gets 2 kills on Starlight, and a Hybrid able to take down. So that's 3 kills so far for the side of Verity. Advent Esports looking good to start, and again, holds on to a Valkyrie and holds on to a Barrage, but overall able to take over the point.
And what a play by Eulogy. The Pharah taking out the high nooning McCree Beezus. Really great stuff from Eulogy. Want to see more of them making this sort of plays. But now coming into this, Verity, if they use an early barrage here to shut down this push before it really starts, that could be really big. Advent getting into this, their barrage has to be really big as well. So it's Battle of the Barrages here on the point.
Determination of Game 3 is right here. We might see an overtime. We'll see the overtime clock coming out. You've got the Rocket Barrage coming out from Eulogy, not finding anybody so far. And that Earth Shatter will come in. Gets 2 people going down and able to take advantage of it. Eika and 0 both go down. It has the Starlight and Beezus, courtesy of that Earth Shatter coming out from Prom. That's huge. 0 gets rested up by Flanagan, but it may all be for naught here. Malum is demeched as well. And this could be the win here that Advent Esports needs, with a 6-1 on point, and Flanagan not being able to do much else of anything but heal. I don't know if you can get anything going. You've got a nano boost on 0 I'm sorry, 0 didn't get the nano boost because there is a nano boost there. But other than that, really no sense of using these ults here. And now you've got no ults on the side of Verity. Advent's got the advantage of this time in one-fight territory.
And Starlight held onto their barrage. I thought they might have used it in that last team fight, but they held onto it, and now they have a chance to use it in this next team fight, which is crucial because Verity really doesn't have anything to defend against it.
You got the high noon this time coming out. Deadeye not going to get anything there for Beezus, so 1 ult down, 2 left to go. You've got the Coalescence from Quest Starlight still has the Rocket Barrage. Zero still has a Primal Rage to use. And now you've got to see if this goes to game 3. Starlight taken out. That's huge. That's Flanagan going down. No chance of a res coming up here for the side of Advent, or side of Verity rather. So if Advent wants to take advantage of it, now would be the time. As Jupiter takes up the res. You got a Primal Rage on Zero. Gets the Earth Shatter as well. So Zero's out of that Primal Rage for just a little while there. And might go down with the ship. Aka's the only one left. Eulogy switches on over to the Wrecking Ball. And now at this point, you're just going to have pretty much a big stagger.
Big stagger, and man, don't forget Starlight. They're still holding on to that barrage. Here it comes. They find Malin just as they use their bomb, and now it's going to be the overtime meter running out, and Advent tying up the series here on Oasis.
So Advent showing some light here, and we are going to the University for game number 3, and this is really going to be very interesting to see because it was a 100% to pretty much, I think it was about 50 that the side of Verity had, and now Advent wins it 100 to 99. So very close game in game 2. What do we expect here on University for game 3?
Personally, I would like to see these two sides using their ultimates a little bit more liberally. Again, normally you don't hear that from me. I'm the person who says these teams need to be, managing their ultimate better. But again, both these teams can use their ultimates a little bit more efficiently in my book. But we're going to see Verity running that pretty traditional triple tank, triple support Goats composition. And then on the other side, Advent, they're going to be running basically a counter to the Goats composition, running that Pharah and that Hanzo is really big. They're going to be able to generate their ultimates very quickly if they utilize this correctly.
By the way, look at this aggressiveness coming out from Verity Academy. They're on the side of Advent Esports, and Advent just got to the middle point. But this may be not in their favor, as Advent already taking down Zero, as well as, I believe that was Beezus going down as well. Jupiter gets the rest on Prom, but you already see Verity taking on over the point. But right now, again, push and shove the start. Verity's got the advantage with the running clock, though.
Woo, and an early shatter from Prom. They got a nice charge onto Flanagan, too. Prom has been really impressing me. They do get just taken out, though, as Pro Genji is using this Coalescence to keep people alive.
Gonna use it to keep people alive, maybe also do some damage as Pro Genji finds someone at the bottom as well. It might be the teammate as he throws out the healing ball, but still 25% along the way, 1/4 of the way to getting this. They're already going to play aggressively here, and you've got a Graviton Surge already. You've got the Dragon Strike coming right down the middle. No source of healing otherwise. They've got Santa Maria Beezus with a triple kill on Aka and Eulogy, a double at the same time, and credit the Mercy as well as the Zarya for the assist there. And all together, now you've got an Earth Shatter as well, but it may all be for naught as the Coalescence comes out, and all together, Advent Esports able to take over the point.
And this is exactly what Advent Esports' composition is supposed to do, right? You generate those ultimates so quickly, that Grav-Dragon combo coming out pretty quickly out the gates there. But Verity, they did a great job of maintaining presence on that point, getting the early cap, and they got 46% out of that. So now, going back into this, they're going to have a couple ultimates of their own, and they're starting it off with another Coalescence by Pro Genji.
46% to a 21% and rolling. You've got the Coalescence coming out. Starlight taken down as well. So really on a 2-0 trade at the moment. It looks like Verity is going to be able to take this point over. Not much trouble. You've only got the Hanzo really left to go. Beast is not being able to do much of anything. And this time Verity Academy able to take advantage.
Yeah, Verity did a really great job of separating half the team, right? You saw that Beezus and Quest kind of got stuck on the point while the rest of the team backed out. And so that was a really great job by Verity to cut off those two from the team, take them out, and then push Verity or Advent backwards. So really nice job coming in. So watch Aka. They're going to have their
I think Prom may have had his Earth Shatter counter because I didn't see anything. Santa Maria Malum quadruple kill for Hybrid. Prom, Jupiter, and Quest, they won't see the light tonight, and they will be pushed back all the way. What a self-destruct.
Wow, what a play. And Prom, I have been in your position before. I know how that feels where you see the bomb, you got the shield up, you're like, I got this, easy. And then it just goes a little bit far behind you and you don't get the block. Really heartbreaking stuff, but Advent, it's not over. They do still have the barrage.
You got a lot of ults being used here. The biggest one would be the Graviton Surge as well as the Dragon Strike. I don't think the Dragon Strike made it anywhere there, and now you've got overtime clock running as best they can, and it looks like Verity might be able to hold on, but here comes the team from Advent Esports. They are not done just yet, as Malum is D-Mech all together. You've only got the Lucio left to go. Flanagan's going to have to retreat for now, and this overtime clock will not run out. Advent able to stay alive.
Yeah, Malum, I believe, ate that dragon from Jesus. Really nice stuff, but in the end, Advent, they were able to take it back. They find a late stagger onto Aka, and so now they're in a good position to keep holding this unless Prom falls here. That's kind of a big loss. You know, I think ultimately, though, Verity, they are going to back up, regroup with their Reinhardt. I think that's the right move. And so now we have a chance to break this down for Advent, right? How do they maintain possession of this? I think that it all comes down to finding a way to get an early shatter from Prom and having their DPS do a lot of damage here. But Verity, they're coming in hot.
Coming in hot with a rally. That's a huge Earth Shatter, though. That's 3 people going down. Might want to take advantage of it. Genji can do all he can with that Coalescence, but the damage that's coming in from this team from Advent Esports coming in to do what they can. You've got no more heals now. You got a Dragon Strike coming down as well. Somebody up. Starlight quadruple kill as well. So this team now has 2 times, or rather, Malum's got 1 quadruple kill, but Starlight's got another quadruple kill for himself.
Beautiful stuff from Starlight, reading that situation really well. But let's just keep in mind that Beezus used her dragon there, and it got eaten again by Malum. So even though they lost both those fights, Malum's still impressing me quite a bit there. But now it's overtime. The Wick is running out here. Verity, they got to get back into this, but I don't think they can.
I don't know if they can. Verity's going to keep going down. Progenji goes down. The Coalescence takes down Inca. Zero's the only one that can get on this point, as well as Malum out of mech. Dragon Strikes are going to hit 0. Overtime clock is going to run. Nobody else can get there. And Advent Esports is going to be able to tie up the series at 1.
Man, what a close series. You can tell that these are 2 really evenly matched teams. And again, I think that it really came down to compositions. I think that Advent, when it came to especially University, they had the stronger composition. They had that anti-ghost comp. And look at this bomb from Malum. Oh, beautiful stuff. The things that Diva mains dream about. Really great stuff. But again, I just want to harp on this one more time, that these teams are so evenly matched that it really comes down to compositionally who has the stronger one and who's utilizing it to their advantage. And there, Advent did a really great job of using that double projectile DPS lineup to really give them the edge against that ghost composition that Verity were running.
Now, here's the thing that I want to wonder about, which in this case, you had that 4K Diva bomb, the self-destruct, but when it comes to the Rocket Barrage as well, you had 4 kills and a D-Mech as well. So really, was that bomb better than the Rocket Barrage, or would you say that that Malum got the better end of that play of the game?
Oh, you're asking me to pick which was better, huh? You know, I'm gonna say I think that ultimately the Barrage was better, because I think that really sealed the deal for Advent, right? There was a chance for Verity to come back into this, but that Grav and the Barrage combo just really sealed it for them on Oasis. And I think that was really where it solidified that Advent was going to take this map home for them.
So we might have a little bit of a break here between the 2 teams as we try to figure out if we try to figure out ourselves. But we want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Athens Pegasus. Athens Pegasus is a team competing in the Rose League's Gold Platinum Division, which the Gold Platinum Division happening right now, but the Athens Pegasus team is competing right now in this division and is currently still looking to fill out the rest of their sister team's roster. If you're interested in joining, DM Coffee Gamer over Discord, and you can find Coffee Gamer inside the Rose League Discord. But again, we'd like to thank Athens Pegasus, sponsor for the Rose League. It looks like we are going to take a break here, and if our producer is here as well, we're going to take a short break. Be right back here on the Rose League. 1-1, the series score between Verity and Advent. We'll see you on the other side of the break. All right, and we are back here from the break between Verity and Advent Esports. My name is Clutch King on your play-by-play, Zark as our color and AWOL killer on the producer side. We have ourselves a good one here. Oasis ties up the game for Advent Esports in one apiece after Verity able to take Rialto on a 3-2 game, and Advent able to win Oasis 2-1. So now the question becomes, can Advent Esports bring it on back? And this will be interesting to find out if they can. So while we have a little bit of a break between these two teams, let's talk for a little bit of a short while. We have about 30 seconds before we go back to the teams. Zark, give me your first impressions about Ash.
Yeah, Ash, new hero. I was just playing her on the PTR before I got into caster mode today, and I love the character. I think that it's got a really great kit. I love the gun. You know, makes it kind of a cross between McCree and Widowmaker, which I think is the sweet spot for me in terms of my DPS play. I'm a main tank main myself, but I like to think that I can be a DPS player. So I think that Ash. Really great stuff. I think that the dynamite is a really cool feature where you can shoot it to make it explode a little faster. And of course, you know, Ash wouldn't be nearly as cool a character without Bob. Bob is Bae in my book. Bob is the best. And I think that ultimate is really cool. And I love that it can be affected by all the different abilities that a regular hero could.
All right, so let's talk about these two team comps now, sir.
Yeah, so Verity, they're going to be on the defense to start this off, and they're running that Reinhardt Zark tank line. Very strong here on Hanamura, holding that choke, that main choke there. And then they're also running Eulogy on the Mei, which I think is a really interesting pick. It can either go really well or really poorly, and it all depends on the timing of the walls. If they can get one person in it, oh, they used it just a little too early.
Use it just a little too early, and also you have a few people that squeak by the wall as well, so not good of a start if you're the Mei there from Eulogy, as you're letting a few people slip by, and that could spell trouble as Starlight takes down Flanagan to start. And you can see all the players of Verity Academy kind of backed up in that corner, and that's going to allow Advent Esports to really push up this point, at least with the first tick, and I don't know how much you can contest for the second and the third. If that's the case, I don't see anybody really contesting this for the third tick, and they won't have, so you've got 7:15 on the clock to push the second point.
And Advent Esports showing that, you know, Verity, you're not the only ones who can run the GOATS combos. You can too, says Advent, and they ran it perfectly. They got straight to the point, took that presence there, and didn't allow anyone from Verity to get by without taking a lot of damage. So really great start there for Advent. They're going to be coming into this with an early Coalescence, but keep your eyes on Zero because they have their Shatter, and they're going to be looking for it.
And already you're going to see the Coalescence being brought out as well. Zero, keep in mind of the Earth Shatter. That's huge. That's 3 people going down with it. Question is to follow up on the damage. Zero takes down Starlight to start off, so good start. 6-5 left to go on this point. And now the rest should follow here as a great Biotic Grenade coming out. You've got a pin from Prom, a great bubble there. Self-destruct coming right down the middle of the point. Malum might get caught in it, which he will. And now just a little bit of a battle, but considering the spawn point, it looks like Verity might be able to hold.
Yeah, at this point, Advent, you want to get out of there. This fight is basically done. Verity, really nice shatter from Zero, who, by the way, already has another shatter. So, really great stuff from the Reinhardt for Verity. But, yeah, so Advent, at this point, you gotta wonder, do we stay with the GOATS composition, or has it run its course? I think you try it one more time, you rally up, you use some of those ultimates that you got online, and then you switch off that will counter what Verity are showing, because Verity are running basically almost exactly the same thing Advent did on University of Oasis, which countered the GOATS composition really well. So actually, we're already seeing Advent switching Bizasan to the Widowmaker, which I think is going to help to shut down Eulogies. So good swaps there, but keep your eyes on the Gravitons for both teams, because that could be a big focal point here.
Here's the thing, a lot of time wasted off the clock as well. Dragon Strike, along with the Dragon Strike, I think misses the mark there. Even the Graviton Surge as well. And now you got the Rocket Barrage coming out as well. A 3-1 trade all together in terms of ults and kills. And now a 4-2 trade, and this basically makes it Verity Academy able to hold.
You know, the Dragon was a little bit off, but it was mostly Quest, her sound barrier really helped to save the team there while they were in the grab, but then Eulogy followed up that grab dragon combo with a barrage of their own. So they used a lot of ults to get that done. They're still going to have 3 in the bag though, so they're not too concerned. But now Advent, we're seeing some switches to actually a bit of a divier sort of setup, right? We're seeing Prom on the Winston and Hybrid Slayer on the Wrecking Ball. So interesting tank lineup here. I really can't wait to see how they're going to utilize this, what targets they're going to dive onto. But yeah, I think ultimately Zero's going to basically have a free shatter here as soon as this Winston bubble gets deleted.
So 4 minutes and 15 seconds, 3 minutes gone off the clock from the time that Advent Esports had to get to the second point, and still defending it pretty well is Verity Academy. Now you've got a nano boost on Zero. Question to get the picks that they need, and this should be Verity Academy winning another one. So maybe that nano boost unwarranted, but nonetheless able to hold down the fort.
Yeah, I think I think it did the job, because they nanoed Zero, and then Zero aggro Prom there and just really start hammering the damage home there, and really taking out a main tank can shut down pushes in and of itself. So I think it did the job, and now Verity, they only need that one ultimate to really win that team fight. So they're going to be coming into this with 4 on the board. So they're in a good position to keep holding, especially when Ica keeps finding Prom. Really great stuff on Hanzo.
Quest is able to res up Prom though, so now you don't have a res from the Mercy for the next 30 seconds. So the question is, do you wait for the res, or do you just want to push at this point?
I think at this point you just push. You know, some of the time has gone past. You might be able to get that res halfway through this again. And already Beezus, they're going in aggro with the sights, so they want to make this push happen.
Already coming in, you can see Hybrid moving on over. Eulogy's got 2 kills on Starlight, and Jupiter immediately on the use of the Rocket Barrage. That's good for them to start, and the rest should fall with them as Aka takes down Quest. No chance of the rest, and already Hybrid knows he has to back up with that Wrecking Ball.
Oh man, Eulogy, great timing, great positioning with the... Nothing that Advent, they tried going through that main choke, and Eulogy was ready for them. They also took out Beezus there, and now with a late kill onto Prom, that's going to set back Advent even farther. So they started with a really great time bank, over 7 minutes, and now they're just down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So coming into this, what they really have to do is generate some of those ultimates again, get Starlight, get their barrage online, and start moving in here. Find a way to shut down Eulogy, because they've been getting their ultimates very quickly.
So right now you can take a look at the ult economy. 3 ults on the one side of Verity and 1 on the side of Advent, or now 2 if you take a look at it. Prom's going to have that primary agent as well. So really, how aggressive do you play this one?
Yeah, I think you have to be careful, right? Because you have to know that Matt has that. Probably have another dragon, so I think you want to be cautious. You want to stay spaced out, but they're going in right away.
Primal Rage and Coalescence immediately used, as well as the landmines coming out from Hybrid as well. The question is, how effective is it going to be? As Malum runs into a little bit of it, but has that bubble up for maybe a little bit of charge. And now you still have a nano boost on this Reinhardt. Zero again, not going to use the Earth Shatter. And now this time he's Earth Shatter along with the Graviton Surge with the Dragon Strike down the middle. Aka able to take down Jupiter with it. And the rest is pretty much history at this point as the rest of the team falls back. So Verity using a few ults there, but nonetheless gets the job done.
And you know, Advent, you might have some things to smile about there, right? Starlight taking out Zero at the end there, not bad there. But they forced a lot of ultimates out of Verity, right? We saw both tank ultimates, a support ultimate, and a DPS. So lots that were taken out early there, and now Beast is finding a pick on to Aka. This could be room to move in here. We're going to see both DPS ultimates for Advent. If they're going to make a push work, it has to be this one, and they have to move quickly, taking out Eulogy to start so they're not able to use that barrage.
So let's see how this works here. Pretty much one fight territory. Rocket Barrage comes out from Eulogy, takes down Starlight immediately to get the pick, as well as a follow-up kill on Beezus. So really 2-to-1 trade to start off, and Quest goes down the hands of Aka, meaning there's no chance of a res or pretty much big kills as a Valkyrie of some sort. So Flanagan's going to use the Valkyrie to help themselves out. You got 15 seconds remaining, and I don't know if any other team member can get here in time. You're going to have to bring out some sort of dive comp at this point, which they won't, because I don't see a Lucio. I mean, really, the only player you've got is Hybrid Slayer. 5 seconds left to go. Somebody's got to find the point, which Hybrid Slayer will definitely do with that Wrecking Ball. Now, the question is, with the overtime clock running, how effective is it going to be? Starlight finds the Rocket Barrage kill on 0, and Eulogy able to take down Starlight right after that, so the stagger's on. But considering, again, where the spawn room is, Verity might be okay here in this case. And now, again, you've got the stagger going on. You've got a Nana boosted Malum. You've got the Dragon Strike coming right down the middle. Takes down From and really cleans out the point. 0 brings down the hammer with the Earth Shatter as well. Hybrid, again, staying alive as he can, but goes down. So does Beezus. Overtime clock runs. And Advent Esports cannot get a single tick. Credit Verity Academy, by the way. 7 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock for them to defend the second point, and Advent cannot find a single tick.
Wow, Verity doing a really great job, especially props to Eulogy. I felt like there were so many pushes that were just immediately shut down by just the use of their barrage. So really great stuff on the far out for Eulogy. And I think on the side of Advent, I think that what happened was they started with a big time bank, and so they felt kind of comfortable. But then they made so many switches partway through, right, that they couldn't keep up with the ultimate economy that Verity were building up throughout that map. So they kept making these switches, but not doing enough with the ultimates, not finding enough combos the way that Verity were. So I think that if they had a bit more of a solid plan going into that second point with how they want to run it, it would have gone a little bit more smoothly. But also, I mean, Verity just doing a really great job of playing and comboing those ultimates. So, you know, Advent, they're not out of this yet. They can still have a really great point A hold. Could even see a draw here. Some people like to call Hanamura a draw. So definitely some options here for Advent. They're not out of this. And in order to try and do that, it looks like Advent are running with similar tank and DPS lineup to what we saw on Verity there, that Hanzo, Pharah DPS lineup, and then the Reinhardt Zarya. But they're running 2 main healers, the Moira and the Mercy. So they're going to have that res potential out of Jupiter's Mercy, but no defensive ultimate, which I think could be a bit of an error. And already, Quest goes down early.
Quest goes down early by the hands of Pro Genshin. That's a good start. You've got the res up on Quest. You're back to a 6v6, but as 0 takes down the main tank of Prom, Verity might want to take advantage at this point because that's your main tank down and no more res, and that's exactly what 0 will do, swinging the hammer away with all 3 people. Got 3 kills so far. Beezus is there too, so 0 could swing the hammer some more, but the rest of the team is there anyways, and a similar situation to what Advent had. And they're going to have this first take. They may not have 7 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock for them to push up to the second point. It's going to be close, and I think if this clock does run, it's going to be about 7 minutes and 10 that they'll have.
Wow, 0 swinging away like the mad Reinhardt. I love those aggressive Reinhardts, and that's what I think we're missing a little bit in some of these other maps, was that aggression. So I'd like to see Verity playing aggressive again. They're going to begin back into this. Advent, they made a couple switches, right? Beezus on the Widowmaker, Starlight on the Junkrat. So we'll see how this DPS lineup impacts them going forward. It could be a good change of pace, especially now that they're running 2 main tanks, but Prom goes down early.
Keep in mind, Advent Esports had 7:15 on their clock. They didn't get a single tick, but you can see already, Verity Academy already about halfway to their tick that they need to win this map of Hanamura. And Beezus takes down Flanagan as well as Eulogy, so that's both of the supports down. You've got an Earth Shatter coming out. That's 3 people in it, but really all for naught as Beezus finds 0. And Beezus, you could say, is the MVP for that one because that was pretty good damage coming out from that Widowmaker.
Yeah, really great stuff. And I think that Advent had really good target prioritization there on that last defense, because who fell in to start that off? It was the Ana and the Lucio. And I think taking those 2 players out of the equation early on really helped Advent to win that team fight. And then also Zero using that Shatter a little bit too aggressively there. But now Starlight and the crew, they found a good opening here, and a big Shatter from Prom.
Big Earth Shatter to start Riptide. Santa Maria! Starlight finds a triple kill, and that should all but do it with this attack. So Advent finds a way to defend it one more time. The Earth Shatter, I don't know if the Earth Shatter helped or not with all those assists. Yes, it does. As I look back on it, 3 assists altogether, so you can credit Prom for Starlight's big Riptire.
Yeah, huge stuff. Great combination. That's the sort of combos that I want to see Advent utilizing on their offense, right? Utilizing those shatter Riptires are so powerful, and especially when Verity, they had just used their sound barrier. So now you have that ultimate out of the equation for this next team fight. Advent are in a good position to keep stalling this. They're going to have both support ultimates online, so they're going to be able to stall this out. And Hanamura's second point is really a hard one to take for the attackers, especially just because of the spawn advantage. So Advent, they're in a great position to keep holding this.
Now here's the thing. How big, short-wise, how big is the possibility of a draw right now for you?
I think it's pretty big. I think we could see neither team capping the second point. This is a good... Zero has been nanoed. Anything possible that as a charge comes in.
He finds Primal Rage Hybrid though, so Hybrid able to stay alive due to the health that Primal Rage gives. But again, you've got some trades going as Jupiter finds Quest. Beezus able to take down Aka. That's huge because that keeps Beezus in play to do some damage as that takes down Malum as well. And you can see the rest of the team from Verity Academy backing up. So the clock keeps winding down. 3 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock, and already Advent looks like they could hold this.
I don't know how I missed this before, but can we just talk about how Pro Genji has finally pulled out the Genji and living up to their name here? We're going to see a Blade probably pretty soon already. I feel like they basically just switched on to that hero, so really great stuff there. But importantly, Zero and Malum have their tank ultimates. That's a way to win these teamfights, but Flanagan, they fall to Beezus. That's going to slow this down even further.
Would you just say it's Flanagan's unfortunate task to meet up with Beezus, or is Beezus just that good at finding the head?
Ooh, at this point, given the history that we know here, I'd say it's just Beezus is that good. I mean, they have been dinking the heads all day long, and I expect nothing less from them as this map continues.
So right now you're going to see another push right down the middle here on the lower level. And now you got everybody on the upper level coming down, kind of like it's raining all these Overwatch players. Graviton Surge comes in. Now you got the Dragon Blade as well. Two people caught up in it. Pro Genji able to take down Braum, but Beezus finds it. Starlight finds two more. And Advent again holds onto it. Aka and Eulogy the only one. And now as Eulogy goes down, Aka's the only one that can see some light.
So the Riptire, sure, that was flashy, but let's just talk about how Beezus killed 5 people. 5 times in that very short span, Beezus has lit up the kill feed. You know, I said that we expect nothing less. I didn't expect more. Like, Beezus has already impressed me enough, and now they're just doing even more. So really great stuff from the Widowmaker on Advent. Keep your eyes on them because they're going to keep going. But Verity, they keep using these ultimates and not finding enough value from them. I think I want to see them slow down a little bit and utilize their ults a little bit more effectively. And it could start here.
Good start. You got everybody all over the place. Zero's got an Earth Shatter to use, and they slam into each other. That Nanoboost may be gone before that Earth Shatter could be used. But keep in mind, look at the push here. You've got 4 people on the point in a fully spread out Advent team. Jupiter's able to get the rest. You've got the Earth Shatter coming out. Doesn't find anybody in the background, so Zero may have used that all for naught. Braum gets the charge kill on Eulogy, and this tank from Hybrid. I mean, you've got the Winston and the Reinhardt doing some work here as Zero and Flanagan both taken down. So really, with Malum the only one there, I mean, Aka's finding some picks, but it may be all for naught at this point.
Yeah, I just want to say, I feel you, Eulogy. I saw that charge was not meant for you. It happened anyways. It's just unfortunate. But Advent doing a really great job of absorbing so many ultimates from Verity. I mean, both support ultimates and the Shatter, they absorbed it all, and they still came out on top. So really great stuff from Advent. They're going to be coming into this with both of their tank ultimates, and Starlight already almost has another Riptire. So unbelievable stuff from Starlight on this Junkrat.
Keep in mind, once again, we'll say it again, 7 minutes and 10 seconds is what Advent Verity had on their clock. They're down to the final 60 seconds here, and it's rolling, and you've got them all on that staircase. Aka finds Beezus. That's huge. Unless that res comes up from Jupiter here, you've got another Riptire. Starlight's been good for that so far. Finds Zero to start off. That's a good main tank kill. And now, I don't know if you can find the Mercy here, because that there's no Mercy, rather, on the side of Verity, so that's not going to help them in any way. And now with 30 seconds left to go, they're going to back up and maybe hoping for one more fight.
Yeah, you gotta back up. You gotta regroup with your team and just move in as one unit. Verity, they're switching on to more of a dive composition. Smart. It's going to get them back to the point a little bit quicker, and will help combat some of these threats that have been dogging them this whole time, like Jesus, who is on that Widowmaker. They need to be contested a little bit more.
So right now, last chance here all together. Self-destruct and Coalescence headline the team for Verity. You've got both of them coming out at the same time. Self-destruct not getting anything. A 4-1 on the point though, but with the spawn room where it is, that stagger could be huge. You got the Earth Shatter. 3 people going down with it. Question is the follow-up here from the rest of the team. So Prom has himself a good Earth Shatter to start. And now the overtime clock is going to run at this point. Hybrid finds Eulogy and Prom finds Genji on the Tracer, which is huge. Again, there was no res possible on the side of Verity Academy. The draw possibility is there. Overtime clock is going to run. And a 1-1 draw is how we end Hanamura. So Drawnamura is how we end this map.
It's living up to the name. It's living up to the name. And again, this just goes to show you how closely matched these teams are. We're going to see, no doubt, a jump tower here set up by that Shatter. Beautiful stuff. Look at that. The stuff of Junkrat's dreams. But again, what I was really impressed with this match in particular was how the damage dealers for Advent really stepped up to the plate on that second point, really giving Verity a run for money and punishing aggression. Right, that was one of the keys to victory I talked about for Advent, was that you need to look at how Verity was playing and counteract that aggression, and part of it comes with really good DS play, getting into that backline, taking out those supports, and I think that's what Advent did really well there, especially on second point.
Now here's the thing I want to ask you, because Drawnamura lives up to its name. So I want to ask you now, because both teams, keep in mind, Advent had 7 minutes 15 on the clock to attack. Verity gets 7:08 on their clock to attack, both unable to get a single tick. So is it rather both sides not being able to push up the point, or was it just good defense by both sides?
I'm going to say good defense by both sides. You know, obviously that first point can be really hard, especially against something like which we saw, I believe it was Advent run on their attack. But ultimately, when it came to that second point defense, man, both teams just had such good ultimate management, team play. The synergy was on point once it got to, and it was really on the attacking runs where things fell apart. But both teams really great defenses, and again, I think part of it also is the fact that Hanamura is one of the maps where if you are on the attack, you really need to snowball that point in order to win it, and that can be really hard for teams to do. So ultimately, great defenses from both these teams on Hanamura.
All right, so our next map here is going to be Numbani, the fourth map between these two teams, and we've seen the Control, we've seen the Escort, and of course, we've seen the 2CP. Now we go on to the hybrid map of Numbani, which, I mean, if you take a look at it, Control Point was, if you go back to Oasis, Control Point was won by Advent Esports, but then you go back to Rialto on the Escort map, and that was won by Verity altogether. So now this is a combination of both sides, and with the draw on the 2CP map of Hanamura, it's hard to tell who's going to try to win this here on Numbani on the fourth map to take the series lead.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I'm a caster and not, you know, generally so the ones who have to make the predictions on the desk, right? I'm glad I'm not an analyst today and I can just be a caster, because I don't know if I would really know who's going to pull out ahead in this one. Both teams looking very strong, but having weaknesses that the other can exploit. And I think that, you know, we're going to start off with Verity on the defense here, and it looks like they are going to want to run dive competition. Obviously, Numbani, it's a map with a lot of high ground, and I think that dive is one of those compositions that utilizes high ground really well. So I think this is a great pick from Verity to start. I am a little surprised that Eulogy is playing the Genji and not Pro Genji, who is instead playing Ana. I am bewildered and dismayed, but that is okay. We're gonna go ahead anyways. But on the other side, Advent, they're running a little bit more of a Starlight is on the Pharah, whereas Verity, they don't have any long-range hit scans. So if Starlight can hit their shots, that's a good opportunity for Advent. But I do think that not running dive tanks could be the disadvantage for Advent.
All right, so let's take a look here, and again, you've got 4 minutes on the clock. Again, you go back to that map on Hanamura. You had 7 minutes and 15 on the side of Advent Esports and Verity Academy with 7:08. Neither side being able to get a take. So, I mean, do you think there's a possibility that the same thing happens here?
You know, it happens. It's rare, but it happens. I think that these teams have good enough DPS heroes that they're going to be able to pull out that first point eventually. It might take some time here, as we already see Verity winning out this first team fight. But I think it's definitely possible. And already Advent Sports, they're coming up on Jesus's Dragon, and I think if Hybrid can, you know, get their grab up to speed a little bit more quickly, I think we could be in for Advent taking this point. But it really comes down to how Advent combine their ultimates. That's really going to make the difference here, I think.
So you're going to see the entire team from Advent Esports try the end around here, trying to get around from the usual down the middle strategy. And this time, I don't know if it's looking too good here, because you take a look at the health bars on the top right for Advent Esports, and not a lot of health there. Not a lot you can do if Jupiter and Quest are going to go down here. And basically, our Quest goes down at least. Not much Jupiter can do without a res. And at this point, it looks like Verity's going to be able to defend this point.
Yeah, Verity will keep defending here, but Advent, they're coming up on a lot of ultimates. The only one that isn't really ready to be online yet, Hybrid Slayer's Graviton, which can take some time. But I really do think that the tanks are kind of what's killing them a little bit, because they're not able to utilize that high ground, whereas Verity, they're able to just stand that high ground, poke at them from above, and then dive on the targets as they please. You know, there's no one who can test them except for the DPS, but by then they've jumped onto the back line. But now we're going to see Advent trying to take the point from below here.
So right now you're going to already see an attack on both sides. The Dragon Blade already pulled out from Eulogy. That takes down Quest in the background and takes down Beezus as well. Hybrid Slayer's found as well from Eulogy. So Eulogy finds 3 altogether on a Dragon Blade and doesn't stop there. Finds Prom, and altogether you can credit Eulogy with 4 kills in that last defense.
Wow, Eulogy absolutely popping off. You'll love it. I wonder if Genji is ops right now. And so Verity, they held that with only the Genji Blade and the Sound Barrier. Now, I wonder if the Sound Barrier was really necessary. That might bite them a little bit in the end, as Advent, both of their DPS ultimates. But yeah, I think this is the push right here that Advent needs to make work for them, because they do have that barrage and that dragon on them.
Here's the thing, Advent Esports just got a tick. Nobody defending this point for Verity, and so they're already 54.8% of the way. So if this stands, there might be a chance for a tie here. Self-destruct comes down in the background, not going to get anybody there. Graviton Surge might be huge here, as you got the Rocket Barrage finding it, as well as the Dragon Strike coming down in the middle. Starlight finds 2 on Eulogy and 0. But the way this fight looks, Advent might be able to take on this point. As Aka gets taken down, you've only got the Ana left from Pro Genji in that zone, and Advent finds a way to get point number 1 and the payload moving.
Yeah, so really great. Again, the combination of all, right, the Graviton, Dragon, Barrage. Some might say that using both DPS ultimates into that is a little bit of overkill, but when it comes down to it, you need to win the point, and that's what did it. So kudos to Advent for taking that point, and really great job by Beezus taking out Ica on the Tracer, because that was some potential for Ica to stall there, because Tracer can sometimes be a little bit slippery, but using that Hanzo arrow to just take them out immediately was actually a really big play. So now this card's going to keep on moving forward. Not too many switches. Quest is playing the Brigida now, so that's worth noting. It'll slow down the dive a little bit, make them think twice about who they're going to dive onto. But Verity, they got to get onto this point. They got to start causing some chaos here.
Got to start doing something here. I mean, the payload moved up already, maybe all 3 turns already, and finding its way just to the last turn. And you've got already a 2-to-1 trade, considering Beezus is rezzed up at that point. And now it looks like Advent Esports might be able to push it up. Keep in mind, Verity won the escort map of Rialto, but it looks like Advent might be finding some answers here at this point.
Advent looking very strong right now. They absorbed that dive so well, taking out a couple members right. Now Advent, they can keep on moving. They still have both of their DPS ultimates, so they didn't have to use either of those. They did have to use their support ultimates, but again, they're not too worried. They won the checkpoint. That's what matters, and they have 2 minutes 45 seconds to keep on pushing. Verity Academy, to get back into this, they have to have a big nanoed Genji blade. That's what's got to come down to. Eulogy has to come up big against this slow.
And Eulogy's going to go in with the Dragon Blade, however, not nano boosted, but finds a Zarya bubble in the background, takes down Beezus and takes down Quest. So in the meantime, the rest of the team is split up from each other, and that gives the advantage that Verity needs. So finally, on the second and third points that we see Verity defending, they've got themselves a hold.
Hey, Eulogy able to make that happen without the nano. It did eventually find them later on, but it was a little bit delayed there. It doesn't matter though for Eulogy; they were able to find the picks off. And Advent, again, that slowed them down, but they still have a lot of ultimates to work with. They still have their DPS ultimates, and they still have their tanks. So I think that was actually good discipline by them to hold on to them. So now they're going to be able to use a little more effective fight, and maybe combo it with their tank ultimate.
And so we've already got a kill from Zero on to Quest. You've got the Graviton Surge coming in. The Dragon Strike comes right down the middle as well. I don't know exactly if that hits it, but the Graviton Surge able to assist on kills on Eulogy, Zero, and Pro Genji is taken down by Prom as well. So you've got 4 people down. Ika and Flanagan, the only ones left alive, but Flanagan goes down. Payload moves up. Final minute and a half remaining on the clock. This will get around the turn, but the spawn room's so close. We got one more fight left.
Yeah, the Dragon didn't really get a lot of flashiness to it, but it did the job, it did the damage it needed to, and the rest of it followed up. And so now going into the Starlight's still going to have that barrage. Keep your eye on Starlight. They can use it, but it looks like Verity are bringing this back a little bit.
Earth Shatter being brought out by Prom gets the kill, so credit Prom with 2 kills. Ika not able to get to the point on time, and the first time we see all 3 points from an escort, well, at least an escort mode here. Admin Esports able to make this 3-0 to start off against Verity.
I spoke a little too soon there. They caught me out, but you know, really a great shatter towards the end there from Prom, setting up Starlight with that huge barrage, and those 2 have been pairing their ultimates so well throughout the series, and that's the sort of thing that is going to enable your team to win out these team fights and eventually the map. So really great stuff from Advent. I want to see more of that going forward in the series. And then Verity, you know, they started coming back. They started finding a couple ultimates, but again, they were caught out by that shatter. So Verity, they're definitely not out of this. They were able to, you know, only allow Advent to end that map with a little over a minute left. So if they can have an even better run than Advent, they could in good position themselves. And so Advent, they're going to be on the defense this time around. And interestingly, they're running a very beefy tank line, right, with this Reinhardt and again, I think this is a tank line that maybe will be at a disadvantage to them a little bit on this first point, because they won't be able to really utilize the high ground to their full extent. But they are running Beezus on the Soldier, so I think that that's going to be an opportunity for them to have some really good hit scan presence on that high ground. And then Verity, they're going to be running Dive. We saw them run this on their defense, and now they're running it on their offense. So this is clearly something that Verity is used to running, and I really can't wait to see how they as a advantage on this.
So here we go. We'll see if Verity Academy is going to be able to hold on and maybe get 3 points out of all of this, because again, you need all 3 with over a minute to have at least a chance to take on Advent in the second round. But it's already a tall task, because Advent Esports already taking down Zero as well as D-Macking. Now sets both your tanks down. That's already a signal you're backing up.
Yeah, and so what Verity did was they tried to get that Soldier off that high ground. Recognized that was a huge threat to them. They need to get whoever was on the high ground there. And so they went up there, but then Starlight recognized the rotation that was from Verity, and that's when they pounced. That's when they threw the rockets in there, started dealing that damage. So really great awareness from Starlight, and look at that. They're already up to 71% to their ultimates. So really great stuff. Verity, they're switching up the composition a little bit. Ica going on to the Widowmaker now, trying to give Starlight a little bit of trouble. So that's going to throw a wrench in the gears for Advent.
So already a minute and 10 seconds off the clock here for the team from Verity. They're going to need to find a way to get through. And already you can see Advent doing what they can. They're all on the second level for Verity. So really just trying to find the fix that they need. Starlight gets the kill on Zero, but finally some light here as Eulogy takes down Quest and Malum on Beezus. So really, you've got the Rocket Barrage coming in for Starlight. Takes down Flanagan. Able to take down that Rain. And really a push and shove at this point. But it looks like Verity might be able to get a tick. But as it seems, as Malum goes down, it looks like Advent's going to hold.
Oh, man, this is a really close one. Again, a late stagger onto Ica. But Verity, they're doing the right thing, right? They're moving as a team. You saw the dive tanks move together as one unit onto their target, and they were able to take them out. Sure, Zero fell a little bit early, but they still found their target. So now it just is a matter of sustaining through some of those dives, right? Having their supports fall up a little bit better and maybe taking out some of those threats a little earlier on. They're going to wrap around the farther side of this point this time around, but Flanagan falls early. That's huge. They're going to have to back up.
That's one of the sports backing up or going down in the hands of Starlight. So you could say Starlight coming in with the good picks that they need to start off. And again, that's 10 seconds off the clock that you got to back up for Flanagan.
Yeah, you got to back up, and Starlight impressing me so much, but keep your eyes on Beezus this time around. They're going to have their visor, and Verity, they're going to have to find a way to combat this. They have to know it's going to be coming online. They have to focus that down and get that Matrix in their face early on.
Dragon Blade's going to be a nano boosted again. Eulogy's got to find the wall to climb up. Finds Quest in the meantime in the background and not really going to find much of anything else as needing to deflect, using those last seconds to help himself out to stay alive. But Eulogy finds Jupiter, and this is looking good for Verity Academy this time around as they try to find some ticks here inside, and really with no other ults to use on the side of Advent as Hybrid goes down. Verity finds an answer.
And really great juggling going on by Zero, completely isolating from the rest of their team. They're going to be able to take them too. But ultimately, I think that all started with Genji Blade, right? They took out the Moira Quest very early on in that fight. That was a huge source of healing that was gone for them. And then you didn't really see a lot of value coming out of these advisors. They were able to shut that down as well. So really great stuff here from Verity. They were able to take the point maybe a little later than they would have. They're going to be rolling into this. They're going to have Malum's Diva Bomb here, and the dive getting aggressive here. I like that.
So let's see what happens here on this one. Goodbye on a grenade. That takes down the two. That takes him down here. You've got a Rocket Barrage coming out from Starlight. Santa Maria finds Malum Zero and Flanagan. Malum has that self-destruct coming out on Starlight, but really all for naught as the rest is there. And that backs up Verity, so Advent finds a way to defend the point.
Beautiful combination from Prom and Starlight. That we've been seeing that the past couple rounds here. You can tell that their synergy is just so on point. I love it. So really respond well to the dives. And at this point, Verity, I don't know if you want to stick onto the dives. They might have to respect the fact that Advent are really responding to the dives very well. But here comes another Genji Blade.
Here comes another nano-boosted Dragon Blade from Eulogy, but that takes not really getting anything so far. Pro Genji and Inca both go down. Hybrid able to find the kill on Eulogy, so the nano blade not getting any use. And that is big because now you've got to have that Genji build up that ult again, as well as Pro Genji with that Ana.
Yeah, so a couple of ultimates lost there if you are Verity Academy. That's a big loss for you. Advent, they're going to be able to be in a good position to keep on holding. They have a support and a tank ultimate online. That's going to allow them to sustain a little bit further here. Verity, on the other side, you don't have a whole lot to work with. You know, you have that Primal that's going to be online, but, I mean, Bees is taking out Eulogy to start this off. That's going to slow this down even more.
I think our producer caught that too on a jump shot from Beezus as well. So great shot from him to take down the Genji, and back on the replay as well, saying hello to the Genji from that headshot. So really a great shot from Beezus. But overall, Beezus has been a huge factor in this game.
Yeah, Beezus has been coming up big all the time. Look at this, taking out Flanagan again. That's going to just keep slowing this down. Although the whole hog, they do get taken out early, but they find Zero.
A good start for the team from Advent Esports. Keep in mind, you've got 40 seconds left to go, and they're not even at the second point. This is just the first point. But as it stands, they're getting stopped all over their tracks.
Yeah, and again, I think this is compositionally, Verity, they're trying to force this dive to work, but it's not really panning out for them. This time around, Prom, they're charging in early on, but the dive is very disconjointed.
Two tanks already finding some kills. Pro Genji and Zero going down in the hands of Prom and Hybrid, so really, this is not another good fight, and with 10 seconds left to go, you gotta find the point here. Only one person finds the point, and that's the Lucio that drops the sound barrier, but Flanagan's the only one on the point. And now, again, you've got so many people going down at once that we don't know if that's going to help out. You've got Earth Shatter being used by Prom, as well as Zero using that Primal Rage to stay alive, but where that spawn room is, that might not help them. Overtime clock is going to run. Who's going to find the point? Dragon Blade comes out for Eulogy. Maybe a last-second desperation attempt. There's no Nano Blade there. Finds Starlight, finds Quest, and Eulogy might have some openings here.
Eulogy, hero of the hour right now, finding the last-minute picks that are going to be crucial for finding a way to keep their hopes alive here on this map. And Ica taking down Prom. Yeah, this is an opportunity for Verity to keep on pushing, especially if they can get Hybrid Slayer before they get out.
First time we see some light from Verity Academy here on the second point. Now the question is, the overtime clock runs, and the way that payload is positioned, the question is, if you're admin, do you let them have the second point, or do you try to defend this all the way? And I think the answer is, they're going to just, no, they're actually going to try and push them.
Oh, they're going to try and push, but they just lost Hybrid Slayer, so they lost 2 people early on. They're not going to be able to... And now, here comes the snowball. They're finding people out of position, but Prom does get a big charge onto Malum.
That's good, and Prom also takes down Malum all together, so really, you're not going to have the same time bank as Verity, as admin, but at this point, if you're Verity, you're just going for that third point.
Yeah, you just want to complete the map at this point. You need to keep your hopes alive in this series, especially because Advent right now is very scary. They're going to have a lot of ultimates online, and Ica, they need to have great timing with their transfer. It's not going to work out.
Earth Shatter, huge from Prom. Takes down 3 people altogether, and now the question is to follow damage. Starlight is there as well as Prom. Malum may have gotten the kill on Prom, but that should be about it. And now again, 40 seconds left to go. Verity's in a tough situation.
Tough situation, but they have 2 really crucial support ultimates that's going to allow to staying through this, right? They have the sound barrier and they have Transcendence. So what has to happen is someone needs to use that reactively to Starlight's barrage, because that's going to be coming any second.
Already you can see 20 seconds left to go, so no matter what, I believe if this is contesting the way it is, this is going to go into overtime no matter what happens. So final chance here for Verity, and again, according to where that spawn room is, this is last fight, so if anybody goes down here from Verity, the stagger's going to be on. You've already got the Wrecking Ball here. You've got the whole hog taking down Malum. You've got the landmines coming out from Zero as well. The Dragon Blade trying to help out, but the Transcendence from Aka as well, keeping the team alive. You got Eulogy that takes down Quest, but Beezus able to take down that Rain, and now the stagger is on. Hybrid is slept, so that's a good start, but Hybrid can again heal. So no Bionic Grenade either. That's going to take down Flanagan in the meantime. Oh no, Flanagan stays alive in the background, so Verity might have a chance.
Verity, they definitely have a chance. Starlight wasn't able to get off their barrage. Ica, they used the Transcendence a little bit early, but now that seems to have panned out for them as finding some picks here on the point very late, but here comes a whole hog.
Whole hog from Hybrid trying to find what he can here. Eulogy able to take down Hybrid. We may see some light here. Verity might be able to complete the map. Rocket Barrage from Starlight. Last second desperation. 1 meter left to go. All Beezus gets there just in time, and that helps out the rest of the team, but Beezus goes down. You've only got that Winston left, and the point 200ths of a meter left to go for Verity there, and we go on to the second round. But here's the thing, the time bank makes the difference. Verity gets a minute. Advent with 2. Oh no, I'm sorry, I take that back rather, my apologies. Advent's going to have 1 last attack, but all they need is 1 tick.
Yeah, so now it is do or die time for Verity Academy. They really got to make this defense count. And, you know, I do want to give some props to Eulogy there on their last attack, because, one, they saved it in the streets phase before checkpoint B. They really came up with a clutch blade, and then on the third point, Eulogy was finding some picks, but it was really enabled by Flanagan using that sound barrier early, which allowed their team to get very aggressive, get in Advent's face, find a couple picks, and then by then Starlight, they couldn't decide, like, do I use it now? Do I use my barrage now? Do I wait for the rest of my team? and really put them in a tough spot. So Flanagan coming up big on that last push there. So again, this is do or die time. Verity, they're running the dive composition that they really have been enjoying running here on Numbani. Again, I think this is a strong pick for them, but I am still worried about Starlight on that far. We know they can come up with the big barrages when it counts, and I think that could be the downfall for them if they don't focus them.
Now here's the thing too. Both of these teams' first attack did not go well if you're taking a look at it, because maybe they had 2 or 3 attacks before they finally got the point. But in Advent Esports case, you've only got 1 attack to get this right. And at this point, as it stands, you've got the damage being done. Quest and Beezus getting healed up. Beezus finds the kill on Pro Genji. You've got 1 chance to get this right, and so far, Advent being able to take advantage of it. Hybrid falls off the map. That's huge.
Yeah, you don't want to lose members like that, especially just falling off the map, but they're still finding the picks to make it even, right? They're still finding some really major picks, including Ica, the Zenyatta. That's huge.
You've got the Zenyatta with the Orbital Discord doing some work here, as well as Beezus getting the kills that they need. A 5-to-1 trade on the point. You've only got 1 person left. Flanagan's there. Somebody's got to get there if you're on the side of Verity Esports, but it's not going to happen. Advent wins the map in a 4-to-3 set, and Advent in the lead series 2-to-1.
Wow, what a way to end out this map. Really brilliant stuff. And Advent, even though Hybrid unfortunately fell off the map there, they were still able to find so many kills. And here's a really nice from Eulogy. I hope that you all got to see this in action, but here you have it. Beautiful stuff. And they get the kill on the Reinhardt at the end. So Eulogy coming up big on that Genji a whole game long. But ultimately, Advent, I really think Beezus came in clutch for them on that last map, finding so many crucial picks.
So the score right now in the series 2-to-1, and this is going to be interesting because I do not know if we actually go on to play map number 5 here, because on the scoreboard it does say we're map number 5 is control point. So do we play map number 5 is a question.
All right, I don't believe we do use that last map. I think that this is the scoreline. So Advent, they take the series 2-to-1, I believe. So really great stuff. Again, these teams were so closely matched. It really came down to just a couple of plays here and there that really edged it out for them. But really great stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, you and I do this all the time, and we like to do this all the time. And you and I have this thing where we award our personal player of the game awards to either side, and you could basically give it to either side and any player that played here, because this was too close of a game to figure out who gets the player of the game award. So, I mean, who would you give your POTG to?
Man, that is such a tough decision for this one, because normally I have someone off the bat who I'm like, yes, this person is my play of the game, but there were so many this time around. I'm torn right now between Beezus and Prom, and I'll explain my reasoning. One, Beezus was just an absolute DPS, just absolutely destroying at the DPS role, but Prom really did a great job of enabling the team, especially Starlight, to find those really great riptires or barrages. So, you know what? Even though this insane props to you were absolutely popping off, I have to give it to Prom, because they were the team player that enabled some of these really great plays from the rest of their team. So that's who I'm going to give it to, Prom.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm gonna have myself a little bit of POTG here as well. I'm not going from Advent's side. Advent played one heck of a game, but for Verity's side, you have to admit that last map kind of secured it for me. I'm gonna give it to Yui or Eulogy, or whichever one you want to call it. Last map coming in there comes in with the Dragon Blades, basically saves Verity that second point at least. And you're talking about a DPS carry that comes all the way through, and Eulogy coming in with the Genji there, pretty much puts Verity on the map and gives Verity the chance that they need to take on Advent, although unfortunately it comes up a little bit short. We would play map number 5 if Advent didn't come in and push that way, but for me at least, I think Yui's got my vote for play of the game. Played all 4 maps rather extremely well, especially you talk about a tie on or I keep calling it Geronimora now, but you talk about the way that they played out there. I think all around you could give it to any player, but at least my vote, just by a slight edge from Numbani, I would give it to Yui.
Yeah, I think that's more than fair. And again, especially on Geronimora, they were ending team fights with just their one ultimate alone. They just had the right picks, the right target prioritization. So I have to agree with you. That's a well, but oh man, there were so many good options. It's really hard to tell.
It's hard to tell between these two teams. I mean, we're excited to see. I mean, this is the beginning of the season as well for the Rose League. I mean, we're heading into, or at least towards the beginning of the season coming in, and we're going all the way to December 14th, at least for the regular season. So, I mean, this is just the start of November. Imagine what the rest of the games are going to be like the rest of the way.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more of the Rose League. These games are really packed, and I'm in this for the long haul. I can't wait to see how this is going to play out.
You and I both. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. We'd like to thank our producer, AWOL Killer here. He's been doing a fantastic job producing it for us through the rest of the series here. Verity's own Flanagan was our host of the game. Zark, our color tonight. And my name is Clutchy on your play-by-play. Thank you guys for joining us here in the Rose League regular season game between Verity Academy and Advent Esports. Advent Esports able to win out a very exciting series between these two teams in a score of 2-1 by winning the Bonnie in a 4-3 game. So a great series all around. But again, Advent Esports comes out with the win, 2-1 in the series. We'll see you guys in the future. Take care, everybody.